most important thing that we're going to have to talk about this evening is the potential for a short-term breakout that does not change the trajectory of our market unless we were to get past certain layers. Many would ask me, where do you feel more comfortable in this market? Where does it need to push up to? And the short answer is, one, I feel pretty comfortable right now because at least if it breaks down, we know the breakdown area and we know exactly what to look for, which is a very comforting, all-knowing thing. But the number that I really would target went out would be $1.95. If we could get over and hold $1.95, now $1.90 is important to me, and I'll show everybody in a second why. If you're watching, please make sure to hit that like button. If you would like to light up the comment section, I'd appreciate it. Since apparently I can't light my candle because my matches are just inferior these days. But I'll show you exactly why certain layers are very important. And why a rejection here, could be a bit of a hindrance because this would continue us down. But we are breaking out of short-term descending wedges, and I guess the best example to show right off the bat while I'm getting this set up is I don't trade unless I'm told to trade, and I was told to trade in the not so distant past, as you could tell in my morning live, just based on the pattern. So XDC brought me back to the party when it got outside this descending wedge, and when it back tested it, I mean, we talked very clear. Once it did that, there's no reason to not look in that direction. I think it's trying to show us a direction. I think it's been an overextended breakdown, and we've talked over and over and over. It really can't afford to come too much farther down in the all-time pattern because it's going to invalidate this structure if it comes much farther than where it was at. Like, you really don't want to come down farther than about, I mean, it was getting pretty close where it was at. It's getting into that dicey area. So the triple X Haas strategy it's in place. And for XRP, XLM, XDC, that's a triple threat. I've been talking about the 3 X's for years. The mainstream will catch on to it eventually. I've heard some noise about it, but they will catch on more. And the best way that I could come up with separating it, and I'll show you this real quick, but I'm going to do the intro first. Good evening. 6:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Tuesday, January 27th, 2026. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. I should say I'm XRP Future Millionaire. And then we can get into the triple X Haas strategy and yada, so on and so forth. But it's all very influential. If you want to hit all parts of the market, H-bar hits one big section, XRP hits another, XDC hits another, XLM hits another, and Algo is the sleeping giant because nobody talks about it. There's a lot of them that are like that. But anyhow, the best way I've come up to describe this is with XRP. So there are only 3 assets that were built to handle this weight. They call them the triple threat. I call them the triple threat, but the old system, and this is what we're going to do. So XRP, the global bridge, it's not a coin. It's the liquidity that allows billions to move across borders in 3 seconds. The bank's favorite. And it's not because it universally can do it by itself in 3 seconds or less. It's the fact that it has the liquidity to move a lot of money. There's lots of tokens. So it doesn't matter what central bank at any time. There's plenty of liquidity. XLM, the global equalizer, it's doing for money what email did for mail, fast, cheap, and built for the 8 billion people that banks ignored. And XDC, the global ledger, this is the sleeper hit. It's digitizing the 19 trillion trade finance industry. Every ship, every crate, every contract, the reality. We are moving from the internet of information to the internet of value. You don't need 100 different coins. You need the 3 that actually have a job to do. The door is closing on the early adopters phase. Are you holding the keys or just watching from the sidelines? And I love that so much. It's allowed me to show my inner creativity on Facebook. But they do hold their own segments. So when is the Fed printing finally going to find its way to crypto? With my own analysis, Nick, Furby Trades, and thanks for being a very trusted mod in this community. And then Tom's over for your second month with Dust Dallas Crypto News. In my personal humble opinion, it takes about 65 to 90 days by past history. So when it happened in 24 or 23 in March, it took until about June-ish, July maybe beginning of June, and we started to feel it. I think that's what's happening here. It's setting up for us right now. I talked about it this morning. I know it looked bad at $1.87, but it does look like, if you look at this pattern, yeah. If you look at it like this, it looks like shit. But if you break it down into what it's given us, the short-term descending wedge that's there, it's not just on XDC. We talked about it this morning, how that was a play this morning. You could have bought it here, and then you could have just waited and seen if it invalidated this little structure, because when an inverse pattern, big support that it's over the top of, and now we're going to want to get over, if we could close over this area at any point in a daily time frame, I'd feel a lot better. But just closing over $1.90 today would make me feel good. I feel like there's a sneaky move that could be building. It's just, I have no way of knowing if we're going to come down to $1.79 or lower to fill out the pattern at $1.58 first. What I would do if I was liquidating this market is I would bring it up right now, because there's an overzealous amount of shorts out there right now that think it's impossible for this market to go up. It's actually pretty incredible. So I would take it the opposite way. I know everybody thinks it's just going to go down, but me personally, I have the triple X HOS strategy fully in place. And we'll see if it gets invalidated. If it does, I've got my areas if this breaks back down. And it's going to be a wash if it does, but I would like to believe that we're going to get a liquidity tug here based on what we're seeing in the short term. Maybe it only goes 7 or 10%. We have no way of knowing and gets rejected. Maybe XRP just gets to that $2 threshold and gets kicked in the nuts, or $1.95. But we held a very crucial support tap, and that was actually a back test. So if we take it from a positive standpoint, I can see inversion written all over this damn thing. And then when you evolve the pattern, you can see it written all over this special little guy. Oh, and it's special, all right. This is special. XRP special. Make no mistake about it, this guy's special. It started the whole... and I can see something big building. Like, you got to have foresight for this. I don't know if it's going to play out, but at least there's that opportunity that this could happen. Like, it started, boom, bam, bam, bam. I love that. Bring out the wick, try to clear it, overextend, pushing out. That shows the bulls right here. I'm in control, baby. That singular movement of clearing this out, that shows the bulls to me are in control right now until proven otherwise. And it wasn't just that made me feel like that. We had to get a little confirmation. And right now, first of all, that tug back on the channel was big for me. The bigger thing is a breakout of this little descending wedge area. The biggest thing for me is that XDC has been leading the way, and it's telling me, Tom, pay attention. You got to buy me when I tell you to, and I did. A little deeper than I was going to go. Yep. But every time it comes down, it's like, it gives me the opportunity to buy that much more. Well, there was the last time, or one of the last times I bought it was at like 5 cents. And then we were able to sell it after a move, and then it went down to like, but the last time I think it was 4.8 cents. So now rebuying it when it was at 3.8 something, it was crazy, or 3.7 something, because the amount of tokens you can get, the differential, it's like up to 400,000 now. But it's a large portion of what I try to do. XDC, I hinge a lot of things on. If you want me to be transparent, I can tell you the transparency. You know, you got the 10,000 plus XRP in the triple X HOS strategy. You know, but that's already been built. The bread's been laid. The bricks have been put. The foundation is already standing upon. Then you have H-bar, which I upped it because I love Tanya. And we've had a lot of success here. So I put, 50,000 tokens is what I have in H-bar. 50,000 tokens in Algo. 40,000 tokens because of the price differential in XLM. 400,000 token in XDC. But I'm not a financial advisor, so if I get kicked in the dick, I want you to learn from my mistakes. If I can ascend in the proper context, I'll be a very happy person. So it's there's no guarantees here. There's no guarantees at all. Let me tell you, friends. It's actually you smell that? Oh, I like volatility. Whether good or bad. Oh, I like the volatility. You know, we're going to see a lot of volatility, unfortunately, I think, in not so long term. Nick, You've been waiting for that big 30 to 40% metals reversal. May not be here yet, but we're showing the classic signs of overexertion right now. We're showing the classic signs because I've been getting phone calls now, and my brother, and just hearing from other people that normally wouldn't be talking about this, and they're saying that they got 10 grand to the side and 20 grand to the side to buy silver and to buy mining stocks. I said, oh shit. Oh man, we're replaying 2025 of crypto in December and January. Nobody listened. And then now they're telling me they're going to buy all this shit when it's way up. They're doing the same thing. Miners are 4 or 5, 6x. Silver's gone off the reality chain. So I had to, I started to look at this and say, okay, you're up 5 and 6x. You got to take something. So I did. I took something. Like I said, I've been taking miners when they give me the opportunity. Today was another nice update at the end of the day. It gave opportunity. I still refuse to dump down below like 3,000 B2 gold when the time is right. That's just one that unless it forces my hand. But like, remember Mrs. Stott, we talked earlier, just because PLG went down initially, it's not the end of the road. Had a nice recovery at the end of the day, so it may have looked like you missed out, but you really didn't miss out, did you? I don't think you missed out, Mrs. Stein. I think you made a brilliant investment there. A brilliant investment. And you'll get your opportunity to do what you want to do, but there is no doubt about it. If we can reverse out of here, oh God. And that's what I'm watching. Because platinum right now, after that overzealous takeout, that's a huge reversal that's taking place here. And we got back. Well, I drew this out because this was an old resistance barrier, and I knew that that was either going to be a rejection or that's going to be the start of a big W reversal. So, Mrs. Stott, all eyes on platinum in that area. That's your eyes. You want to see how this plays out tonight, and as long as we can get back to the metals market tomorrow without it invalidating 2,518, which I think we can avoid it, but if they did it, if that's where you'd want to take, a little bit of okay, maybe we're going to take a leisure stroll back to 2,400. Or the only other thing I can think of here is that we would try to define this uptrend and just be like, but then again, I mean, you could say that it's more like this, more parabolic, which I would. Yeah, see, that's what I would say. Maybe you're looking at something like that if we had to come back, and it makes sense because that's like 2,400. Other than that, I mean, if it breaks past here, we filled out that target that I had put out, even for gold, which is crazy since we last talked. We filled out my gold target now. I think pretty much almost, well, not quite. We went to 5,190. I put 5,000. Well, let's measure this from where it actually broke out. Because I remember, oh no, it is measured perfectly. Yeah, so am I going to split hairs over 10 or 15 bucks? No. No. So now we need to see. But Nick, I had a dream. I had a dream 2 nights ago or last night. Well, I went into sleep paralysis last night, which means something is approaching that's out of the ordinary. I always go into sleep paralysis, which always happens when something out of the ordinary is about to happen. And it was weird because I was in sleep paralysis. I don't know if any of you have experienced it. It's not real fun. But I've been dealing with it since I was like 9. And all I was thinking, was there was just something that was building. And I remember in the dream before it went into sleep paralysis, I was watching the miners play out in front of me in metals, and I was looking at it, and in one hand I had a bar of silver, in the other hand I had all these different mining stocks, and in the middle was the actual real-time price. And it was so weird because it was so visual. And all of a sudden I watched the miners, and it showed in my account 118, 119,000, 125, and then all of a sudden I went to sleep in this dream. And when I woke up, I looked at the screen and it said 62,000 or 57,000, but it showed miners were down 27%, silver was down 19 or 20%. Gold had this big $600 reversal. And that's what I was seeing in this dream. I'm like, holy shit, that must be my self-conscious. That's a crazy dream. Self-awareness, there's 2 ways to wake yourself up in that I've noticed. One, you have to completely stop fighting it. You have to stop fighting it. And the cool thing is like, and it's hard because when you're in there, it's hard to breathe. But if you can fight it enough, you can actually rock with the dream, and like you can literally go with it. I've done that a few times, but I seen some weird stuff, so I try to stay within the dream now because I almost feel like the soul's wandering in that moment, and it's like you got to be careful where you're going. Um, yeah. Oh yeah, that's Mr. Stott. I think there's a point to that though, because that happens to me. Like I literally can hear things like it's like you're somewhere else, and what I think is happening is your spirit is disconnecting from your body. I feel like, and if we can control it, it's in a lot of the old things. Um, but yeah, like you're literally there. It's been happening to me. I thought I was in purgatory because I'd go into sleep paralysis and it'd go pitch black, and I'd feel like I was there for hours. And I'd swear when I was a kid. I didn't know what was going on. And I was probably like 8 or 9. My parents were divorced, or 10. And I remember being at my mom's house and I would wake up and I'd be crying, Mom, I'm in purgatory when I sleep. I can't go back. And she would always be like, what are you talking about? How do you even know purgatory? Um, and I'd be like, I'm sleeping and I feel like I've been there for years and it's just black and I can't wake up. I can't move. I'm just in the ground. And I would always dream like I'm in the ground, like in the grave. I would feel like. And for a lot of people, there's a very small percentage of people that go into sleep paralysis. But there's got to be a reason. So it's interesting. But anyhow, I know a lot of people want to hear about that. 13 people left during our sleep paralysis discussion. I'm sorry that I bore you. Sorry that I let you in. Shame on me. But XRP. And was there ever more of a deceiving title? It was to make a point this morning. And you guys seen in the live, like, you should see the comments from the morning live. Was I more bullish or bearish in the morning live, despite what the title was saying? To put the caution in the air. At least in the immediate short term today, I was more bullish this morning. No, knick-knack, I don't know if it's supposed to be controlled. Over the years, I think we just get so scared when we're in the moment that we can't understand the spiritual meaning of it. I really believe that. There's more to it. There's more to it. And it's crazy when I was a kid, because I didn't know what it was. I remember spending the night at my cousin's house. And when I woke up out of it, I was like, couldn't breathe. And I was, so they all thought I had asthma real bad. So when I went to the doctor, they're giving you all these, but it was not anything to do with asthma. I never showed any signs of it now as an adult. That's not what it was. But the first thing they did, they put you on medicine. Hey, take this inhaler, do this, do that. But it had nothing to do with that. It was literally sleep paralysis. And I used to try to describe it, and people thought, like, a lot of times you're a kid and people are like, oh, you're crazy. I wish sometimes it was just I'm crazy. But big reversal possibly here. We just need this flag to play out. We need this to continue to trend up. The one thing I'll continue to say is there is no volume here, which is a problem. But I'll continue to say it as well. There are volumeless push-ups when it's not meant to be a long-standing move. Even if it is, sometimes it starts out weak and then you get confirmation in the bigger breakouts, but something doesn't seem right here. It seems like we're becoming more exhausted in one sector and more extended in the other. And remember January of 2025 when we had this discussion? Guys, we're so overextended in crypto and undervalued in miners. This is the time. Like, now I feel like I'm talking out the different game here. It's like we're so overextended in crypto and the miners are more extended. Not all of them, though. Like, B2 Gold is one of the exceptions to my rule right now. That guy, as long as gold doesn't tank here in the weekly time frame, B2 Gold can push us out here. Can push us out in a big way. There's a few of them, like PLG. If platinum doesn't tank, platinum can push us out in a real way. I've been trading PLG with a couple thousand of the shares, but holding firm with a few thousand of the shares because I'm trying to. I overextended myself in it because I wanted to ride it, and there's so much that goes on to it. I think MQ knows more about that side of it. I don't want to bore everybody, but there are spot trades that were being able to be made, and there was a perfect one from like that 265 area to it was about. I put it on my chart, $3.80 something cents. But then you reassess. You reassess when it either gets back to that point or breaks down to a lower level. But it's to me, this is the funnest thing to do. because it got right up to our, well, whatever this was. I don't know where it went. $2 or $3 and, oh, it was 60. I thought it was 80 something. Okay, 360. The numbers don't lie. Oh, I moved it down there, but the numbers don't lie. So that was the area of the push-up where if you were looking for a swing, that's where you would have got off around 360. Now we have to see if this is building a shoulder, if there's something to this. If there's something to this and it breaks over the high, I mean, I want to see how this plays tomorrow. I want to see what happens with platinum. I want to see what happens with gold and silver, because a lot of times in my experience, they'll rally it at the end of the day in trading just to lure people into the miners. And then 24 hours later, when the mining open back up, or 16 hours later, it's a whole different ballgame with gold, silver, and metals. So I always get a little nervous when the end of the day runs the way it did. I would rather it dump out a little bit at the end of the day to give a little bit of false illusion that we're going down. Another one I want to touch on today is, again, XRPNW. As much as we want to get into this hardcore, we just have to make sure that this is not breaking down here. It doesn't take a lot to see it get up over 93 cents and get above, but if it breaks down below 80, I don't know if it's going to, because if XRP breaks out, this is showing a classic V-shaped recovery, shoulder, head, shoulder, and it's telling us if we don't lose this pattern, and we don't even really need to look at it like that. I mean, we do, but it is building something more. Like, I don't like to look like that. We need to see, I would almost say more, to give us a better feel, you'd almost have to do something like this. And then it's like expanding across like this. So at a certain measure, it kind of meets like that. So you have to make sure that this is going to break out before it breaks down. So I would much rather be on the cautious side. Or if you're taking a shot at this, I mean, the closer you are to the support structure. So almost back to 78, you held out from 96. Now you see if it holds this 78 or 80 cents. But that's the other play if you want to get some exposure to XRP outside of crypto. You know. So there's a couple different plays. That's going to be the warrant play, which will eventually pay a yield as Ripple or XRP extend into their own treasury. So. But, yeah. What did Nick say? Nick, I never know anymore when volume matters in crypto anymore due to futures. I know. That's exactly why I keep talking, Nick, more. I don't know if I ever really talked about the volumeless push-ups in past years as much as I have in 26 and late 25. It's the element you just said, Nick, for retrades. It's exactly what you just said. Because of the ETFs and the futures, who the hell knows anymore? We didn't have to deal with this in 21 or 22 or 23 or really 24. 25, by mid to late year, everything changed. But I know in my heart that this is going to change when nobody's expecting it, because we have midterms. And I know in my gut that they promised both sides, and I know what's going to happen. Everybody can see it coming from a mile away in this community, but nobody wants to talk about the smoking gun in the room. Nobody wants to talk about the theoretical elephant in the room. Nobody wants to talk about the untalkable. The untalkable is everybody in retail has gotten their nuts off with silver and gold here over the last about 3 weeks. And now in the last 2, they've put it into epic levels that we've never seen before. What's going to happen is it's going to go from jollies and the balls to, you know, the nutcracker. I've seen it before and I've seen it again, and I tell everybody it doesn't matter the asset class. It doesn't matter the mumbo jumbo they're putting on in the news. There's nothing that's changed now really from before when it comes to the scarcity of silver. Yes, there's more investors. There's more things that need to be picked up. But I promise you, they're not letting retail get rich like this when everybody's starting to jump on board. In fact, they want you to buy 118. They want you to buy 115. They want you to buy the miners 600% up. You know why? Because then when you get the first measurable 30 or 40% move back, that really doesn't even matter. The miners can go dump down. Silver, gold, platinum, and the metals can correct real hard. And then about 2 months after that, everything's at new higher highs than they were at. It's going to happen that quickly, but there's going to be so many people that bought way up here, they're not going to be able to enjoy the ride. And that's my message. And that money's going to rotate. Remember, money finds yield. Do you think it's by accident that money's slowly starting to try to rotate back into crypto instead of risk off? The other key cautionary sign is we've been seeing now in the metals, and I know PLG did its thing too, but that's more volatile than the normal miners. You're starting to see where silver is vastly outpacing the actual movement of the market. So silver will be up 7%, the miners a couple percent, or silver's up 15, the miners 6 or 8. That's a big difference. So what I expect to happen is if we get one day where silver comes on and it's down 7% or 8% when it starts, not during the day, not being up 15 and dropping during the day. If it comes on anywhere between like 4 and 7% in the morning, the miners will come on. I'm telling you, we're going to have a discussion here in the short term at some point where every single miner on the screen is down 15% or more. It's going to happen. And I don't want to be this guy. I love the miners. I've loved since doing what I'm doing. But I can also tell you, I feel a more comforting position knowing that precious metals are in my hand, and that no matter what happens, and the scarcity of that, because the paper trade can still happen. And that's what's going to bring this down. The paper trade will bring this down one last time, because let me show you what happened in First Majestic. And this is not by accident. Look at this. I mean, you want to talk, and this was telling you what's coming. This was not by accident. This is telling us at some point what's coming. I've never seen this amount of selling in my life on the open. And I waited all day for them to say that there was a misprint. For everything I can see. So on the open, there was so much selling pressure of First Majestic that there was 2.437 trillion in sell volume supposedly. And the price for minutes fell down to 3.6 cents. Now you tell me what's going on here. That is... What do you guys think of that? I don't want to cut into your band discussion. Do you think that this, what the hell is this? Is that a reshuffling of the books, or what's going on here? Like when I seen that, I go, what the hell is going on here? That's pretty interesting. You see some interesting things. You just see some interesting things sometimes, but yeah. Don't be sorry. I like to read what you guys are writing. I didn't want to interrupt your conversation. Mark, I have no idea. I have no idea how that's possible. I mean, the dark pools, yeah. I mean, honestly, hope you listen to the music too, Tom. I used to. Everything you've been talking about was in my repertoire. Really now, though, all I really listen to are records. I know it's old. But I like Garnett Mims, and I like listening to some of the old stuff from the 50s, 60s, 40s. I got my record player. But yeah. Oh, I know what I want to show everybody. I gotta send this to my phone. Oh, it's gonna be great. I need to show you guys the. Oh yeah, and mine play. It's got a 33 and a 4 to 5 and a 7 to 8. Oh yeah, I can play all three of them. You better believe it. Go big or go home. But no, I gotta share this with my email so that we can share this together. I want you guys to see the market psychology. This is something I sent my brother in 25. I don't remember if I showed the audience in 25, but it's been nailing the market to the wall. Been nailing it to the wall, folks. Here it is. Send. Okay. Let's see what we got going here, baby. All right, let's download this real quick. Okay. And I think everybody will appreciate this as we go through this. This is pretty damn cool when you start looking at stuff like this. Oh, well, we can dig into stuff like this when we go into the classes even deeper. Where did this go? Where'd it go? So it disappeared? Aw, cut me a break. Make me go back here. Fine. I wonder why it didn't save it. Let's see. I guess save to drive would be... I thought I saved it to the drive. Maybe not. It doesn't want to share it? Is that what's going on? Ah, fine. I'll just do it myself. By the power that I have. Alright. Excuse me. So, periods when to make money. And this is pretty interesting here. Let me make me a smaller head. Not no head. Smaller head. Damn, it's cold in here. Holy shit. I might be a little more appealing. Hi, everybody. So, periods when to make money. So, 8 years in which panics have occurred and will occur again. So 1927, 1945, 1965, 81, 99, 2019, 35, and 53 are panic years. The B years of good times, high prices, and the time to sell stocks and values of all kinds. Ready? 1926, 1935, 45, 53, 62, 72, 80, 89, 99, 2007, 16. 26. So you're supposed to sell when your value's high. Stocks of all kinds. And it's going to be a downtrend, like we're at a market cycle top for a little while. Now, that doesn't account for crypto because it might have already done that at this point. But it's telling you, you sell when the value of all kinds, when you have high prices. Look, years of good times, high prices, and the time to sell stocks and values of all kinds. So if you're having high times, high prices, now you go to C. Years of hard times, low prices, and a good time to buy stocks, corner lots, good, etc., and hold till the boom reaches the years of good times, then unload. 1924, 31, 42, 51, 58, 69, 78, 85, 96, 2005, 2012. And now it's telling us right now 26 is going to be a down year until 32 in the market supposedly. And this has been impeccably accurate. Impeccably. I have Led Zeppelin on my record, as a matter of fact. But yeah, I think this is very interesting. Whoa, what's this? 1970 legend. Thank you for being a very trusted mod in here. Also in Tom's Army for over 1 year at the I Told You So badge. He's our fellow Buckeye from Columbus. He's our friend. First it was Michigan, then Ohio State, then Indiana. So the Big Ten's got the trifecta here. 3 different teams. Pretty cool in 3 different years. Show me the last one anyhow. But I really appreciate having you in here. Good times. I'd like to be out by the campfire having a talk with this guy. Thank you for the $9.99 super chat. Says checking in from the Bahamas. Go XRP. Awesome, my friend. Hope you stay safe out there. And what a beautiful sight. You missed some hella snow in Ohio and Michigan the last couple of days. So you went at a great time. Also, gifting 5 subs to this beautiful community. As I say, and he's a very important part, 1970 legend, this community is sponsored by the very beautiful souls and members of Tom's Army. And it's because of each and every one of them, say thank you or be nice to them, is why we don't have ads during the live. I put it on rerun. I put the ads so YouTube will try to push my stuff out. But it's because of each and every one of them, or should I say, because of each and every one of them. I don't want to talk quiet because then you won't be able to hear me if I talk that low. But it's because of all of them. So I appreciate them being the single-handed sponsors of this show, as we don't have any other sponsors. One, nobody will touch this show unless it's for the easy blood money, and I don't want blood money. I want real money. I want to make real currency because of things I do, because people believe in me. Big time congratulations to you, Seymour, Elegant, Agony Trader, Cash Go Tit. Congratulations on getting your second month of the Dusty's Autos Crypto News. Not very random. Everybody was the second month with the Dusty's Autos Crypto News. We'll take it. There's some good people in there. And that is the Dusty's Autos Crypto News. Define, thanks for being a very trusted mod in this community. Tom's Army 6+ months with the XP Predictor says it seems that way, don't it? Wouldn't want it any other way. You guys are talking too, so I got to make sure. Mr. and Mrs. Stott, thank you so much for being in town 3+ months with the XP Meteor. What do all the other numbers mean? Those are speculative. Those are, I don't know. There's different ways to look through this, what the numbers mean. I'm not sure. I am not sure. Some say it's part of the cycling. You know, there's a certain cycling between this. See, I never understood if it's going to be the amount of years in between. Because I can see where it goes like 7 years from the 2005 to the next C to 12. And then it takes a couple years to move up from 2005 to 2007 is 2 years. And then 2007 back down to 2012 would be 5 years. But if you take 2007 up to, it's weird. Then you add, it's so weird when you're in the box. It's so, I don't know, it's weird. Because if you see what I'm saying, so if we're at 2023, 3 years up, here, let me do this. This will work out for us now. I'll show you what I mean, Mr. Stott. So, I'll use it to our advantage. Okay. So, if we look at this, let's see if I can get my beautiful drawing tool out. Beautiful. No, I don't want it to stay. I would like it to delete. Nah, whatever. So look at 2023, Mr. Stott. So right here it says 3. So 3 years from here would bring it to 2026. And then you start to look at it and you're like, well, what happens now? Well, now we're in a downturn. So to get to 2032, it's 6 years. So it's got a 6. So that's what I start seeing in here. And then I'm like, well, what's the 9 for? That's the part that confuses. Like, was it 9? Oh, it could have been 9 to get back down or around, but I don't know. I'm not sure. It makes its own little thing. It's so weird. Maybe when it comes back down, it's a 9-year cycle. Who knows? It's all speculatory, but what I have noticed is a correlation, like 32 to 34, 2 years, back down, 34 to 39, 5 years, up is 4 years, back down would be 7. I've seen that kind of correlation in this. But the top correlation, like 32 to 35, oh, but I don't know. Is it, who knows? It's a very weird thing to look at. Yeah, the light lower legs are the years in between. Yes, I just don't know what the other ones are. I'm not sure what the other ones are. I understand those ones, but what's the 18? Oh, those are just odd. It's 18 years it takes. Look, 18 from 27 to 45. 20 years is 45 to 65. That's the length of time. 16 years from 80. Oh, okay. 16 years from 81 to 99, or 65 to 81. 18 years to 99. Then it's 20 years from 99 to 2019. So you have 20 years in between the years of panic. So there's always a 20-year window, it looks like, before you get them, depending on it. So this time, before you get into the panic stage, before we can even get up there, it's going to take us 16 years from 2019 to 2035. But you're going to have a minor run back up to 26. That's going to cause a lot of panic on the way back down to to the lows. That means somewhere between 26 and 32 in that 6-year period is going to be the reloading phase. Then you're going to have 8-year rally, basically, or 2 years to get back up to the median. But in this case, we're going to actually go an extended. We're going to go 3 years because we're going to run up to the top. But that would cap off a 16-year period from 2019. That is very interesting. Don't get fooled, Mr. Stott. We are halfway. Look, we are halfway to a new top. But, and I'll preface this, but, 2016 is technically a down. We have to take a 6-year downturn before we actually break up. It happened every time. It happened in 2016. Isn't it funny how these all line up? Financial crash. 2007, financial crash. 99. I mean, look at all these lining up. I mean, it's almost impeccable. But then you get the bigger crashes. Well, we know the COVID, what happened around there. We know what happened in the dot-com era. We know what happened in the early 80s. We know what happened in the mid-60s. I mean, it's almost too accurate. Oh, okay. Yeah, because you got to take Scarlet back. Is T shaking his head at all? Or is he still out? Okay. How long has it been since I've been on? 40 minutes already? Yeah, I think that chart's very interesting. Defiant says, best asset you can buy this year, better investment than silver, gold, or crypto is Tom's TA courses starting February. Give a man a fish, he will eat for a day. Teach him to fish, he will eat forever. Oh, that's beautiful. Yes. The classes are starting February 2nd, which is not this week. I believe it's next Monday. So it's coming fast. It's fastly approaching. There's a link in the video description below under pinned comments. There's, I think, 19 people. I did not start putting it in shorts because I was trying to keep it just within who sees it. And then if it decides to grow, if I want to advertise after a few classes, because you're not going to have to be in real time if you can't make it. It's always going to be shared in that section on YouTube, even though I'll be teaching it from Zoom. You don't have to take the extra step because guess what? I'm going to do it through YouTube in the way that I got it figured out, as you guys know, so that it'll be safe. But anyhow, it's going to be really cool. Oh, from a macro. Yep, we're about halfway. That's right. It's supposedly, but see, that's the thing though. A lot of times money needs to find yield somewhere. So could that be the time creatively for a risk asset to capture some of the momentum for a couple of years? And then when it goes back into a more relished investment, that's the interesting part about this whole conversation. Risk assets can put a wrench in all of that because money needs to find yield. Money must find yield. So I am just, I'm looking very closely to what's going on in this market. Very closely. We've had some real volatility and I'm all for it. I am all for this. It feels good actually. I like volatility. It's no fun when it's just a straight sideways. This has been nothing but volatility, and depending on which section you look at. So what is your guys' honest opinion? Do you think we have a chance to break out of these descending wedges to the top side? Oh, here, I'll give you my daily. I worked out today. Somebody said it earlier and I forgot to show, but yeah, we're getting some size for sure. We're starting to get some size. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. We love volatility. Absolutely. We love volatility. I'm down for the drop down, for a last drop down. Might take a little build up to get down to the last drop down, though. That's all I'm saying. We might get a little build out here, which might throw some people through a loop if you're just expecting the immediate down. I think it is really set up for a possible push up here. I base that on just where the charts are at, and I just feel like Bitcoin, even if it's bearish, it's going to come back up here a third time and at least test this almost 91K. It has to, you would think. And it's breaking back out of this. Like, the fact that it dumped out and it reasserted itself, and then we talked about it yesterday. We had to keep that there just so that it would start showing it. But then we talked about what if it really did start to pull up here. This was our favorite. I think it's on the other chart, but this was our favorite rendition of Bitcoin. Because look how quickly that changed. That we were really excited about when that happened with some of this. Like, hey, we got a chance here to reverse this. It went from a bearish pennant in the short term, but then it turned itself into a slightly more appealing pattern. I think we can all agree on that with some of this. Now, that's a neutral continuation the way it ended up, but a lot of it ended up in descending wedges. I could also say that Bitcoin's in a descending broadening wedge based on how that is. Because it's not a descending wedge, but it certainly is broadening. Because if you look at it from the pullback here, this is the wedge from the inside. And then it pulled out like this. No, not like that. It's hard to see from way back there. But it pulled out like this. A descending broadening wedge, I think, is very accurate here. I think that's fair. So if we can get over this resistance over the top, this is a sneaky reversal pattern designed to make it look extremely bearish. Inverse pattern, still holding fear and greed was still in fear. Everyone is super bearish, and that's what we want. We want that to continue. Let's go to the crypto fear and greed. And then we'll go to the Bitcoin long and short. Then I want to go and look at a little bit of XDC, I think. XDC, H-bar, Algo. Because I'm very big fans of these particular tokens. And my hat's going to be in on my replacement hat so you can see the triple X hot strategy again. Because I think I was out in the snow and the wet weather and it ruined my electric hat that Julie bought me, and I'm sad. So I bought a new one. It'll be here, I think it's at Thursday or Friday, so you'll be able to see my hat again. I miss it terribly. 29, so we're still in fear. That's incredible. I wish it was still in extreme fear like yesterday. A lot of people, you know, I'm not sure why it jumped so much, but we still have 10 minutes here, and in 10 minutes we'll see where it's at. It might have went up a little bit from where it was at. It's odd seeing metals doing what they've done and crypto pretty much staying where it has for the ride. You are right, Crypto Cooter. And about, what does it say, 10 minutes or so. So yeah, 11 minutes like you said. You're dead on the money, and I appreciate that info. Especially for the ones who are trying to figure this out. Like, just taking the time to type that out really does help. Paul, D-Billy, and thanks for being in time zone for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. Tomorrow, all eyes are on him. Tomorrow, all eyes are on Paul. We're going to have the finalization of the 2-day FOMC meeting, which we'll probably hear something around 1:45, 2 p.m. Then we'll have Paul at 2, I believe. I'll start playing that, but I have to pick my son up from school, so it'll be just like always. I'll have it playing, and when I get back home, I'll just come back in. I'll just keep it on live. It'll be as if I don't leave, if he's still playing, because I got to leave my house at like 2:45-ish, 2:40. So we'll watch it together, and then we will pick it back up when I get home if anybody's interested. But I do feel like we're getting close to a big rotation. They do, Mr. Stott. They have a big inverse relation. Everybody thinks that cryptos and metals flow together. I disagree. When the money's going into risk off, crypto's usually dumping, and the metals and miners are doing good. But when you have a rotational flip back into risk on, a lot of times the metals are going sideways or down, and the miners are kind of flipping into the risk off, from risk off to risk on. So it's a very interesting game. It's a very, oh, you're welcome, Mrs. Stott. I try. I really do try to put out as much information as I can. I know we only get an hour, and I talk so much that I can't believe we're already at 47 minutes. It freaks me out sometimes that time goes so quick. But right now, Bitcoin has 49.82% going long, 50.18% going short. So still, there's more people going short still, which is interesting. You got 27.72 billion short, 27.95 billion long. It's not a big disparity in the last 24 hours, but the point remains. There's a tiny bit more money going short than long there. There's a little bit more on Ethereum. It's more noticeable. 51.16% going long. Oh, wait a minute. Long. I'm sorry. 51.16. That makes more sense. Going long. 48.84% going short. So it's pretty close on Bitcoin. Oh yeah, Bitcoin was the opposite, wasn't it? Interesting. Yeah, Bitcoin was the opposite. Ethereum's got 28.12 billion going long, 26.85 billion going short, which means there's about 1.3 billion to the downside in excess if it goes down. Bitcoin, there's more to get if it goes up. Whoops. XRP. XRP 50.04%. So this is basically a wash. It doesn't matter which way it goes. It's dead even. That's a deadlock if I've ever seen it. I think XLM's on here. XLM has 48.1% going short. Long, 51.9% going long. Not much, 5 million differential, but there's not as much money moving through there. But it can have a big effect on that particular token. XDC, believe it or not, is on here, but there is not a lot of futures trading. 49.39% going long, 50.61% going short. That's a 4.28 million going long, 4.38 million going short. And we'll see what Whoops. We'll see. I gotta take this shoe off my foot. I got my braces on. I have to wear braces. Well, I have for years. Otherwise, my ankles will pop out. Unsavory, like though. I got flimsy ankles from sports and stuff, so not cool. So I take precautionary measures, but they're sore. But yeah, XDC pretty nice. And then I want to go over some of these charts real quick. We'll go over the H bar and stuff like that. But I wanted to look at these real quick. H bar, I think all of them have them. The ones that we talk about, these 5. 49.89%. Does anybody get value out of this? I know Mrs. Stott does. Does anybody get value here? Oh, okay. About to go back. So 49.89% long, 50.12% short. Pretty even. A couple $100,000 to be made by the market if it goes up. And then Algo. Algo has 50.45% going long. More on the same line of Ethereum getting closer. 49.55% short. Not much difference. About $700,000 or $600,000 roughly. It's not big. Not a big percentage. So let's get down to H bar. H bar is up 1.43% to 10.811 cent. Looks like it's breaking out of an inverse setup. Looks like a descending broadening wedge, which is a very bullish reversal pattern if it can play out properly. Created a descending wedge, it looks like, down here. It looks like it to me now. Everybody has their own their own, understanding. But to me, that's what it looks like. If this is a confirmed breakout, which we thought this was setting up for something unique here when it actually hit. As long as it didn't break that descending broadening wedge, which it didn't, this should send us up here. Like, I really believe, like, this should be at 12.3, and then maybe we could back test 12 and get the hell out of here. I'm telling you, this could turn into a not-so-big rally, into a more sustainable rally before you can even blink. Especially if, for whatever reason, gold, silver, and miners start to rotate. Something big is starting to shift here, it feels like. We're starting to get a transcending shift. It's pretty nice to see, actually. So, looking pretty good here on H-bar. We waited a long time, nailed it to the wall in this low, and now we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens if this can play out properly. If it does, and this plays out to perfection, because I would almost say, like, when I look at this, I think it would buy Scar. We'll see you later. I almost think you could probably put it like that, and it would make more sense with how this played out. Obviously, if you play it out from back here, you could do it, but I think from where it started here, I think the broadening wedge, man, but if you actually brought it back here, God, there's so many ways I could look at this. But I think I do like this, though. If you look at it like this, a decent, you could call it, I guess, an expandable channel, too. I don't know. I think this actually makes more sense like this. You could even pull it like that, which is kind of funny if you did, but I think you expand it out. Then you just kind of look at it. And yeah, if it gets on top of that, it could get pretty interesting, if I'm being honest. You know, you got a wide base here. It would get even wider if you could jump from here back to the top. But just from a, I mean, it could turn pretty quickly into a move up to those. It could happen pretty quick here if it happens. Oh, classes start on February 2nd. That's a Monday. Next Monday, actually. It's next up. $49.99. But that's, I mean, again, it's going to be set up like a class, and it's going to be a little bit different than what you're used to when I do this on YouTube. I bet on myself, so if you want to learn from me, that's fantastic. If you don't want to go and do the extra step, that doesn't even matter, honestly, because I do this every single day, and that's not changing just because I'm doing. This is all going to stay the same. Nothing's going to seem different on YouTube. It's just I used to teach other things. I used to be a personal trainer and a dietitian, and I used to do some other things in business where I could do it online in the primitive stages. And now I would like to because I had some job offers that I really needed to take seriously. So if I'm not going to take those, I need to find a way to generate income on my own, which I think Facebook is going to alleviate a lot of this, if I'm being honest, once I become monetized, because I've been getting a lot of views. My channel is just too new, and I think that's going to alleviate some of that pressure, if I'm being honest. But that could be 3 to 5 months down the road, even. But my son's nonverbal, and he's autistic, and he's had some serious accidents. He's 6 years old. My significant other of over 12 years, Julie, she was in that car accident when he was 6 months old. Not their fault. But she's had 7 surgeries now and had to have her ankle bone taken out, and she's never going to be the same or be able to work. So I got to dedicate 25 years to my son so that he never has to work. And, I've been doing this since March 24th of 2021, and I've never missed a day of doing this, and I don't plan on it. So what time do classes start, Tom? That's the big question, Mike. It's going to end up being, and it's like I tell people when you take classes, it's going to be at an odd time, so it might not work with the schedule of someone's work, but we have people from so many different countries. The best I could do was I want to do it while my son's in school, but it's probably going to end up being, it's going to be that sweet spot between 12 and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if I had to guess. And it's not going to be for everybody for the time. And I'm going to try to do it, and we're going to talk about it, because it's going to be twice a week, probably on Thursday, maybe Friday, depending on what everybody feels, but we're going to have a couple beta weeks. And then it's all going to be able to be watched too after, so you're not going to miss anything. If you are in the classes, you can watch them after. You can do it at your own pace. I encourage you to screen record everything, or at least copy it off of YouTube. But I'm going to be doing it through Zoom, so it's not going to be like you see. Maybe I'll pull up a chart, but it's probably not. You probably won't see a chart for 3 months if it takes us that long to get to that section, because I'm not skipping around. So forget everything you know about me, and all you're going to know is I'm Professor Tom, I suppose, or Professor Speaka, or something like that. They used to call me, well, it just depends, because I was in a different field. But, man, I kind of like what this is setting up here. I do. I like what this is trying to show us. All right, so that's H-bar. Thanks for the questions, everybody. Hopefully that, maybe one person will sign up. Yes, is this the class? No. Not even close. I know I teach a lot in here, but we can't go as in-depth as I want, because nobody would watch. I don't have to impress anybody in the classes. I just have to teach. It doesn't matter about how many people are in there. I just need 5 people. I said it from the beginning. If 5 people are in there, I can get the message across. Unfortunately, we have more than 5. So that's not a problem. So, again, with XDC, we're in a descending wedge, but it's also in a descending broadening wedge. So that's the difference. A wedge, and then a broadening wedge expands out, and the wedge starts in. So that's a broadening, and this is just a basic wedge. Both super bullish reversal patterns. So... and it built in an inverse head and shoulders. So XDC said buy. And then you say, well, XDC until when? Well, until the next resistance, and we'll see how we react. And that's going to be up here at about 3.99 cents. Doesn't seem like a lot, but even in a swing trade scenario, catching it on the back test, which was already there before this even played out. So, you kind of just have to do it in the moment. And that's about a 3 or 4% move back to the top. And you're hoping to get on top of that. And then the descending broadening wedge, this would end up playing you all the way back up to about 4.4 cents. Then it starts to turn into about a 10 to 12% move. Still doesn't seem like a lot, but that gets you into the right side of town, 15%. That's a great move after a big downturn, and we'll see what happens. Still have a lot of room in the 4-hourly to move. So, yeah, I'm about to end this. It's been an hour. I just need to go over it. Yeah, T's still out. Okay, XLM, and then I'm going to go through XLM and just show you the algo chart, and then I'm going to end this, like I said. Maybe I'll come back later Michigan starts here. Basketball. We're playing undefeated Nebraska. 3 versus 5. Michigan's 3, Nebraska's 5. Michigan's 19-1. So for XRP right now, you can look at it like this. I mean, XLM, you can look at it like this for a breakdown, but it did not break all the way down. We broke out of a short-term pattern, but we fell back within it. But if we just take a little bit different look here, I still think this is breaking out of what looks like, and you could take the wick out too if you want to. I don't encourage doing that. You don't need to, because you can find the second hit here. So we support across. So that is forming a descending wedge. And if this comes back to the top side, the third hit of resistance suggests 21.7 cents. And everybody asked me, what's the 20.1 cent for XLM? Is that make it or break it fallout number? Where is my expectation of XLM long term? Oh, XLM is very much in my playbook. I have 50,000 tokens when I hold it. I mean, 40,000 tokens when I hold it. And right now I am holding it because it held this structure. But we're looking for the breakout, so it hasn't broke out yet. 20.9 cents, and then it would open up the door to 21.7. If that breaks, then we can come back up here. We're looking for a inverse pattern to play back up, and that this is a bullish channel, and that it'll break up over 22.9 and all of a sudden push us way out. And then before we know it, we're talking back about 28 cents. Now that would be something. But we're still overbought in the 4-hourly. It came up very quickly. Daily's fine. Daily's actually making the double bottom push up, which is nice to see. But at the same time, we're going to have to see some kind of upward utility or pressure here. Otherwise, I hate to break it, but if these rotate back down, we go down to the warning levels we've talked about. So if it breaks 20 cents, yeah. If XLM stays above 20, we're pretty good. You know, we've given ourselves a little bit of breathing room here, but just pay attention, because if this falls apart, you're going to know that this is going to fall apart structure-wise like we've shown today. And that structure just won't hold up, and it'll break down, and then you're going to have to start over like I will. Then it's, oh, I got to sell the structure, and now I got to restart, which is fine. I'm not opposed to it. We're in that kind of a market. I don't necessarily want to be trading. I don't think it's a trader's market, but I do think, you know, the one willing to make the move in this market is the one who's going to succeed. And sometimes you got to take chances and not be afraid. But sometimes you also have to call a spade, so it's that fine line. So right now, I mean, look at this. To me, it looks like inverse head and shoulders until they're not. Descending patterns that are forming until they're not. This one's a little different, though, because it's extended for algo. But until this invalidates, I mean, I'm not willing to say that this is going to fall apart. Shoulder, head, shoulder. Low, higher low, higher low. You know, converging. So we'll see what happens here. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. I got to go hang out with Julie and go make sure everything's everything's going good in the house. She needs to get off her foot, though. But long term for XLM, I got no problem saying where I believe it's going to go long term. And some get mad at me when I show the number, but you know, I think $1.77 can happen with XLM. Oh, Tom, only $1.77. It's over 8x from where it's at. Be happy or don't be happy. Honestly, there's nothing I can do about that. But I think that's a realistic target in time. Obviously, we got to get over that 55 cent area, which has been a pain in the ass over the years. But once we clear that section, then we can start worrying about the 79 and 94 and things like that. But I do think we're going to get near that $2 mark. It's going to happen. But yeah, thank you, everybody. But that's, when it actually starts moving. We got to see if we can even get out of these areas right now. Yes, we're showing signs of opportunity, but just pay attention to what I showed you this evening.